Hi, welcome back to the studio, and today we're having a quick talk about Dolby Atmos and something amazing that I found out. Now, me being awkward as I am, I like to work all analog. So when it comes to recording and coming up with initial surround ideas, because I'm writing for Atmos, not just mixing for Atmos, I need to have the whole 7.1.4 live, not going to the renderer because you lose your inputs. So this is why I choose Pro Tools to do my main writing, because I can actually make a 7.1.4 bus. So this way I can use each track's insert IO plugin to get out into the real world of analog. And then once I get to about 99% of mix of where I'm going, I can then switch to the Dolby renderer, and then I have access to this fantastic plugin, the Dolby Atmos Panner. Now, unfortunately, if you're using the inbuilt renderer, either in Logic or Pro Tools, you don't have access to the panner. Coming from a modular background, clocked LFOs are just amazing for making smooth transitions just to do it on a modular. So that led me to the first problem of how I can monitor late at night. I might need to be doing some object assigning or some track cleaning up, and don't necessarily need all the speakers on. So unfortunately, because you cannot connect your Apple AirPods, if I try and connect these to the renderer, say, and as we all know, if we try and connect our AirPods to the audio output, we get the dreaded buffer size 5112 of shame. Now, why Dolby won't bow down to Apple's 300 and odd buffer size, I don't know. And computers are getting fast enough, I'm sure it wouldn't make much difference. But anyway, how I use this now, once everything is going to the renderer, if I just go to the preferences, you can see we use coming in on the Dolby Audio bits from Pro Tools, and normally I would use a loopback device. That's set here, and the actual loopback through comes through 1 to 12 on the Dolby renderer, and then I can reroute these to the appropriate speakers. And the reason I do that is because these are on the end of a patch bay, and don't really get in the way of my normal use. So I came up with a fantastic idea where I would take 12 channels and just add them into the left and rights of the headphones, which hand connect to the AirPods Pro. But it's like a fake surround sound. Obviously you don't get any benefits from the head tracking and all that that the AirPods give you, but at least you can work. And then I realised if I've set the Dolby renderer to stereo or binaural, then I can just use a straightforward 2-channel, and then you can still hear the binaural effects, obviously not the full Dolby Atmos AirPods experience. But that's not even the most exciting thing I found out. If you export an ADM BWF from the Dolby renderer, then we can import that into Logic Pro. And we're just going to create a blank one for now. I don't think I even needed to do this, but we now have the ability to import. These are some bounces made from within the renderer, and we can just choose one of those. We can close and don't save. Record folder, null not found. Let's just click OK and forget about that for the minute. And then it's telling us that it can't import all the mid-far settings from the Dolby renderer, so it doesn't matter because we're going to do that in Logic anyway. Now, one thing I will stress, for some reason Logic has this habit of not putting inputs on certain channels. So if we don't sort that out now, it's going to ask us in a repetitive loop to select an input. So I'm just going to do that first. And as you can see, what we have is it has brought all the tracks with all the metadata from the Dolby renderer into Logic. And we can have access to the Apple AirPods head tracking and personalized spatial profile. Now I find normally this was the biggest problem for me, was the mix down to stereo, because it's written for surround, made it a lot harder to fold down into stereo, and I would always be clipping the mix bus. So from here now I can reassess the mix, and I can check between speakers and headphones. And I'm considering actually releasing the stereo versions as the spatial binaural, as opposed to just the 2.0s. If you get these set correctly, it can actually sound very natural and not too processed. Happy enough for me. And once I've made that stereo bounce, I can then actually master it like a normal stereo, so it can match other levels coming off different platforms. But yeah, haven't heard anyone talk about importing whole sessions into Logic before. But I think this is now how I'm going to actually finish the album, is by doing the stereo mix bounces within Logic. And that way I can hit all my targets. Happy days! And the best thing is, I can use the AirPods. Okay, hope this helped. Catch you next time.